trainer turning away clients or potential clients? If you are, what are the reasons that you're turning them away and not taking them as clients? I've been seeing a lot of people that I've been working with, having a lot of conversation with dog trainers, and almost everybody I'm talking with they're super, super busy. They're booked out in advance. I know people that are completely booked out with clients 3 months in advance. They're having trouble keeping up with phone calls. They're not having space in their programs. They've got all kinds of waiting lists, and they're having to turn people away. And then I also see people turning away clients because they aren't necessarily the kind of client that they want to work with. And what I'm seeing is a lot of missed opportunities for dog trainers and business owners to be generating more income, bringing in additional income. Now, you might be perfectly happy if you're totally booked full, happy with your income. You're not necessarily looking at, bringing in more income. And that's great. This really isn't for you if you have no desire to add additional income, or if you're, not really stressed about what you're doing, whether you're filling spots or overflowing. But if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, you've got a busy workload, you're having to turn people away, there are some easy ways to earn some additional income, or to at least offer some kinds of services or products to people that you're not able to help like right now in the moment. And there's also, I see what some people are doing. The waiting list is so long that they're not taking any kind of deposits or having people lock in a spot, and they're losing opportunities. They're losing clients or opportunities to earn income from those people. So what I'm going to be talking about today are some creative ways to increase your dog training income if you're interested in doing so. I'm going to be talking about some traditional ways that people deal with this, and some of the maybe not so good ways that it helps, and some potential ways for hopefully to have you kind of open up your mind and think about some novel ways or different ways to potentially maybe not take somebody on as a full-time client, but to earn some income from those people that are just going through your doors, or, missed phone calls. So if you're just now hopping on, super excited to have you here. My name is Erica Bowling. I'm the owner and founder of Northeast Canine Conditioning. A lot of times we talk about canine fitness topics, but today I wanted to give you some business tips for dog trainers and business owners. And also if you do other kinds of training, maybe not just dog training, this could apply for you. So if you're just now joining, thank you so much. I'd be curious to see if you are turning away people. Why are you turning them away? Like I said, what I just mentioned here are some of the top ways that I see, but there may be some other ways that you're missing out on income and turning people away that I haven't mentioned. So let me know. But let's dive right in. First, I wanted to talk about the challenge that I'm seeing a lot of dog trainers facing right now, especially, after, we had the lockdown for the pandemic and everybody getting puppies and dogs. And what I'm seeing a lot of people is they just can't take on more clients. Like I said, they're booked out in advance. Their schedule is crazy, long waiting lists. They just cannot physically bring in more clients. I'm hearing this from a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot. Hey, Nancy and Sean. Yep. Not enough time in the day. Nancy said you don't turn away, but you have wait lists. Yep. And that's another thing with the wait list. Nancy, do people put money down? Like, are they just on a waiting list, or do you get that commitment? Because that's another thing that I see people doing, is they might have a wait list, but they're not necessarily locking in the commitment. And those are missed opportunities, right? But definitely this is something I see a lot of people, they're just, overflowing. They just can't handle the demand. The other thing that I'm seeing, they already have that long wait list. So maybe they do have the spots and they do have people putting down deposits or money, but it's way far out. So then what I see people doing is they have maybe potential clients or people that put a deposit down, but they're just sitting there and waiting. And there's opportunities during that waiting time to take advantage of helping the clients, but also generating income. So I'm going to give you some examples. Yeah. See, you don't, if you have a wait list and you're not getting a commitment, you're bound to be losing money there. There's bound to be people that end up finding somewhere else to go, right? Or, the longer they wait without taking a commitment, you give them more time for them to decide that they changed their mind, right? And maybe they decide they don't want help, or they're going to go somewhere else. So if you do have that's one thing, is if you have a wait list and if you're not getting a commitment down, that's one area where you're losing money. I'm going to give you some examples of where you can maybe be a little bit more creative in how you do your wait list. Another one is like just totally turning people away. And I'm going to show you a way how even I know people that are missing opportunities for income because they just can't handle all the phone calls and just can't get to people. And there are some things that if you have things set up the right way, you could potentially be selling, generating income just by having a message on your answering machine. So I'm going to show you some ideas of how you might be able to turn those people, instead of turning them away or ignoring their calls, even if you have an automated message, to maybe direct them somewhere, an automated email response that could generate income from you. So these are some common challenges that I've been seeing people facing. So strategies to generate more income. Like I said, I'm going to give you a couple strategies that are pretty common, maybe not the best way to do it. And then I'm going to give you a little bit more creative ways. And feel free to add in the comment section if you have some more ways you want to add. So here's one of the ways that, of course, you could do, but it's not necessarily the easy route, is hiring or mentoring more trainers, right? Having more trainers, bringing in assistant trainers. Now, that definitely can help, but you're generating income, but you have to make sure you have enough income to pay their fees, right? And if they're full-time, you got to have all those, all the additional things that you're covering for them. And I know a lot of people that are struggling here because they can't find quality people to work for them or to mentor. So this is not necessarily this is one way to deal with the problem, but it's not necessarily the fastest or the easiest way to deal with the problem. Now, one thing that I've done in the past, sometimes, like whenever maybe I didn't have the money to hire people, is kind of having like an exchange of services. So like I help you and you help me. I did that at the university where I had all these doctoral students. I had a whole research team, and all of the faculty were like, Erica, like because I had no grant money at the time. And I had like 6-7 people working for me. And they were like, how are you doing that? Like I wasn't even paying them, but they were getting this amazing learning experience. And then when I wrote articles or did things, they got acknowledged, they got papers. And I was like, what do they want? They want experience and they want recognition and they want to build their resume. So the deal is you help me, I help you. If I have money, I'll share the money. But if I don't have money, I was able to give them things of value that they deemed important. So that was a way I worked around of having people work for me, even if I didn't necessarily have the money to pay them. So there were certain things that they wanted out of that relationship, and it was mutually exclusive. I help them, they help me. So those are some kind of a little bit more of a creative way, especially if you're a little bit tight on money. But I do know that a lot of people are struggling right now. And some of you are here right now listening, are struggling to find quality people to mentor or to bring them in as a full-time trainer. So that's not necessarily, that is an option, but I wouldn't say that is not the most creative way to go about it. But it does work if you can find the right person. Now, here is something that I see a lot of people could or should be doing, is revisiting the pricing of their programs. And what I like to do is offer like a tiered pricing, have like high-end program, a mid-level and a low program. What I see a lot of people doing is they're filling their programs and they have one program and one price for the program. And a lot of those people should be raising their prices because they're way undervaluing their services. So one way to generate more income is you've got this huge waiting list, people knocking on your door, people who can't wait. And a lot of you should really be charging more. And the other thing that I like to do whenever I'm raising prices without a fear of losing people or getting people upset is I will have a high value program and make it really enticing and basically push everybody, say, into the higher programs. And then what is my normal price program is I only pull that out if they reject my other higher options. So for some of you, an easy way to, kind of a creative way to bring more income is just create a bigger version, a higher value version. And so you have the same clients, but they're paying more money. I'm going to show you some ways how you can add more value to that without necessarily giving them a bunch more hours of training. So these are some things that I see that people aren't taking advantage of. They're undervaluing their programs. They're not raising their prices, or they're not offering a higher end version of their programs because you have a lot of people that probably, if you have those huge waiting lists, you have people who will pay more money. So there's a couple different ways that you can deal with that to bring in more income without necessarily losing clients. So that is not necessarily the most creative way, but this is something where I see people are missed opportunities to generate more income without necessarily doubling your workload. Now, the next thing is, this is something that's a bit more creative, and I haven't really seen people doing this, is selling like auditing spots. So when you go to like seminars, you have working spots and auditing spots. So auditing spots is maybe they come, but they don't bring their dog. So let's say you had a waiting list for an obedience class, and they can't start until 8 weeks from now. What if you say that they can actually come to the session before? It's an auditing spot. They can observe, they can go home, they can practice with their dog. They don't bring their dog, but you're basically selling a spot for them to be an observer and come take notes. And then when they come 8 weeks from then, probably their dogs are going to be further along because they've been absorbing stuff, right? So Beverly, say you just created a higher price version of one of your programs and it's selling. Awesome. More people need to be doing that. And if you have a higher price, don't necessarily lose the lower price unless you totally want to, get rid of it. But a lot of times, if the lower price program, don't even bring it up, don't even offer it unless they reject, the top one or the mid one. And I know many people could easily be getting more income per client if they just had something to offer and they're not doing it, right? So another thing have any of you ever done auditing spots? I was doing a coaching session with somebody about a year ago, and she had a huge waiting list, and this was something we came up with. I don't know if she actually implemented it. This was right before everything shut down, and then she was just doing in-person training. But for the auditing spots, you can do the auditing spots also virtual. This is easier if you train indoors, but I've known people where they've done training indoors and they set up cameras. I've known a couple different people who've done this, where they've set up cameras in the room, or one camera or multiple. You teach your class, and then you have people who actually are observing the live class, but they're doing it virtually. They do this in human fitness training online all the time. They do group fitness classes. Have any of you seen them or done them? It's a live class. You pay for it, and the video camera is right there. The instructor is either by themselves or with a group of people. They're exercising in real life, face to face, but then they have an online audience who is also exercising at home, and they're paying for that spot. So you could do something like an auditing spot where you go about teaching your lesson, get permission from your current students that they can be on video, right? And you can stream it. You can live stream it. I've known people who did this with a Zoom training, and they had a whole class and they were training, and they had a whole nother facility, a whole nother building, and a trainer who they were collaborating with a big distance away. And they basically set up the Zoom cameras, and they basically taught the class live, and they had a live audience in person, and then they had the virtual audience. So you could do something like a virtual auditing spot where they can just come and watch the lesson. Or if your class isn't too big, you could actually make it interactive. I did that at the university where I was teaching, and I would have some students live in the physical classroom, and then we would project on a screen, like a Zoom meeting, and we would project it on a screen, and they would participate virtually as if they were there in the class. So there's a little bit of logistics with the cameras and stuff, but that is something to consider, is kind of like doing your class live, and then they can attend virtually, either just observe it or even participate. And like I said, if you have a lot of dogs in the in-person class, I wouldn't necessarily. It would be easier to interact with them if you can give them feedback, on the video. But at a minimum, it could be an auditing spot, and it's like they're a fly on the wall watching your class. And then you can maybe do, once a week or once a month, do like a Q&A, so that you can do like a Zoom meeting, and then they can ask questions, or a Facebook group. They watch it live, and then maybe they go in a Facebook group and ask questions. There's a little bit more work there, right? If you want to answer questions, but setting up the cameras and then just, letting it play. So that's another thing. You could also do it a video replay. So you could record the lessons and then just do a little bit of editing if you want. Or don't do any editing, and basically they purchase to get a copy of that lesson. Now, if you do that, again, if you're videotaping your clients, you want to have your clients release and say that it's okay for you to videotape and use it for teaching other people, right? But I've also done classes like that where I wasn't, even though I had other students in the classroom, I arranged it so that I was the only one on the camera. So the camera was not on the other people in the class. So like I said, a little bit of logistical stuff, but it is something that's possible. So selling auditing spots, either in person or virtual, live or a recorded. Now, the other one is offering hybrid. Now, this isn't necessarily going to, a hybrid is a mixture of in-person and online. And one of the things that you can do, I find that this is helpful when people are struggling with scheduling. And instead of meeting a group of students or individual clients every single week, what you can do is you can do like 1 week in person, 1 week online, 1 week in person, and 1 week online. And what it does is when you're meeting online, it can give you more flexibility to, if you have a tight schedule, if you're commuting or things like that, sometimes just having that flexibility, so you're not meeting the same group every single week, it frees you, sometimes can free you up physically during that time slot. So that's one thing that you can do. Also, if you do a hybrid, if you have some sessions face-to-face and some sessions online, is when you're meeting online, especially if it's like an auditing type thing, or depending on how intensive you're giving one-on-one feedback, you could potentially have an online aspect of it that's unlimited. You could have lots of people, like a group coaching call and Q&A and stuff. But one of the things that I like with a hybrid is a mixture of having some face-to-face and online is the flexibility in schedule. I did this a lot. All my classes at the university were hybrid, and my students loved the flexibility, because sometimes I would give them things to do so that they don't have to be sitting at their computer at a specific time. So you could, for the online part, it could be live, it could be a Zoom meeting, or it could be, today we meet Monday face-to-face, next Monday, instead of meeting face-to-face, post your videos. And then you can give them feedback, but you don't have to do it right at that time. You could do it the next day or at midnight or 7 a.m. So a lot of times just simply having that flexibility helps you be more efficient in how you work your schedule. And it could be added value to a program. You could potentially take more clients if you want, but it is a nice way to think about the flexibility. So that is kind of another creative way. Now, another one is, and I haven't really seen anybody doing this, sell online training products and services, in the sense, I see people selling this, but for example, somebody calls you and let's say they're interested. Here's an example. Maybe you used to work with dog aggression and you don't want to deal with dog aggression anymore. And so you're not necessarily going to take those clients. Maybe you could refer them to somebody else. But what if somebody called you and you say, listen, we don't do dog aggression. I've got some training videos, or I've got an ebook, or I've got some resources to educate you for so much money. And here's a referral to go to, a trainer I recommend. So there's an opportunity that you could have an ebook, a training tutorial, a video. So maybe it's somebody that you don't even want to deal with, but you have a resource that you can refer to them and they can purchase it. The other thing that you could do is you could actually, have somebody that you want to work with, but maybe they can't work with you right now. You're too busy, but you have a course that you send them to, an ebook, a training series, something like that. They purchase it and then they start studying. And then whenever you're ready to fit them into your program, they come, but they're more knowledgeable. Maybe they haven't fine-tuned skills with their dog, but they're coming in a lot more knowledgeable than if they did nothing while they're waiting. And then you sell it, you offer it for a price. And so that's another way to generate income. The other thing is you can even do things. Oh, this is on the next slide. I'll give you some examples. I'm going to give you some more examples for what these training products and services might look like. So some of the virtual options are, and I have seen people, a few people that I've worked with and coached do this, is they have their kind of foundations course. They're kind of like the bare bones basic, like all the basic stuff that you're repeating all the time. The basic knowledge, anytime you get a brand new client, these are kind of the basic training things you want them to know. And they created their like foundations course and some of those basic foundational, instruction and information, and it's online. And so let's say somebody's on a waiting list and they can't start for 4 weeks or 8 weeks, but you have some foundational basic, like your philosophy of training, your reward system, the science behind what you do. There may be some basic behaviors that all your clients typically struggle with that aren't difficult to teach. And you can offer this and do like pre-record it, create it once, have it there. And basically, Nancy, this would be like, if they're on a waiting list, they put their money down, they actually sign up for the program. They could, for the full program, sign up for the full program. The first 4 weeks is an online training course and you give them your foundations course. And then week 5, they come in person. So instead of having them on the waiting list without putting any money down, you actually sell the program, sell it, and they have online support for the first 4 weeks. And then they come in week 5, and then they do in person. So that is something, like I said, there's some topics in some audiences that won't work for the teaching strategy. But even think about this. Let's say you don't want them practicing with their, maybe they have a reactive dog, and maybe maybe you do deal with dog aggression, and you don't want to do like an online dog aggression course. But what you could do is give them information, give them, some of the why, give them the history, give them, videos of reading dogs' body gestures and postures and posturing with other dogs. So you're not necessarily saying, go out and try this with your aggressive dog, but you're basically educating them. You're giving them some foundational information, and you can make use of videos and stuff, and sell that, while they're on the waiting list, get them started, sign up full, and get them signed up in that course. The next one is, mini courses and training tips. So you could actually, sell a standalone course or a mini course, and maybe you never even deal with the client. You sell that course, it's a standalone training, and they're gone if you don't want to deal with them. Or you teach, course number 1 online, and then course number 2, they come join you. Training tips. You could do something like, basically they can sign up for maybe an 8-week email course, and you can make this automated where you send out automated emails once a week. Every Sunday, you can say, okay, you're going to sign up, and every Sunday I'm going to send you an email. And in that email, I'm going to give you one easy to follow training tip and examples or instruction on how to do it. And you can basically automate it. So you just create your emails, set them out on an automated system. They sign up, bam, every week. It's like a little mini course, and it can go right into their email inbox. You don't need anything really fancy for that. You just need to be able to have send out emails, preferably automate it. So you don't have to, go and sit at your computer. Just set it out every Sunday night, send that message out, and have them pay for it. So it's kind of like a little, an online training tips, weekly tips, weekly. It could be a mini course, and each week is a different topic, and you send that out to them. A video library. You might just have a really nice resource library. And I know a lot of people that I work with, they already have all these amazing videos, tons and tons of videos. And that could be a great video library. So it could just be, go and at your own leisure, pick your own topic, an as needed basis, and you give them access to the video library. Again, if you have videos of other clients' dogs, make sure you get written permission that you can use their, a video of them for this purpose. But most of the time, if you have a good relationship with your clients, usually it's not an issue. Just make sure they sign off and that it's okay that you can use it that way. So that one, like I said, it could just be a collection of videos, no real structured lessons. You can just have different topic videos. The virtual challenge or the weekly training tips, that's something that I already mentioned. You could also do, it could be fun, while they're waiting to sign up for a course, it could be a virtual challenge. Like, this week I challenge you to take your dog to a new environment and practice A, B, and C. Next week, the challenge for this week is to go do, introduce your dog to a new person and post a video of it in our Facebook group. And so it can be kind of little standalone motivational fun activities. And maybe you're not doing formal training, but you're engaging them and motivating them until you can actually get them into your regular class. So that's another way that you can just kind of, during that in-between time where you have those long wait lists, sign them up, get them committed, get them paid for that program. And then in that meantime, you can have these fun little enrichment things that they do and save the formal training whenever they can come see you in person or when the official class starts. So that's another way that you could do that. I think I have one or ebooks. This is another one. You don't have to get real fancy with technology. You can just have some really informational topics. It can be as expansive as you want or as short and easy to follow. It can be a cheap little ebook or it can be something that you sell more. But this, you could literally just get one of the easiest ways is to do this is you can actually get a Microsoft Word template, do it in Word, and then save it in a nice template and save it as a PDF. I love using the program Canva. This would be super easy to do. They have templates for ebooks. It's Canva, Canva, and just create like a PDF ebook. And then you can either upload it where they can purchase it from your site or have a little payment thing. They pay it and you email them. And you can have on popular topics, an ebook on what are some of the most common topics or some of the easier problem solving type tips that you can give, put it in an ebook. If you don't want to get fancy with the technology or do videos, you can do something simple like that. The next one, this involves a little bit more work, and this would be group coaching or group Q&A. And this is like virtual. So maybe they don't sign up for your regular class, but maybe you do once a month or once a week where you do an online, like a webinar or a Q&A. It's like office hours. Maybe they sign up for a program where once a month or once a week, you hop online, they mail their questions to you. If they have a video, they send you their questions ahead of time. And then you meet live. You maybe take an hour out of the week. You meet live, you do a Q&A, you answer their questions, you give them training tips, and then maybe supplement it with the Facebook group if you want. But it's not the best scenario, but it's better than having them just say, oh, you don't have room for me, goodbye. Or if they're just sitting there waiting until on that waiting list and you haven't gotten a commitment for them, this is one way that you can get that commitment and say, listen, we're going to meet once a week virtually online as a group. I'm going to answer your questions, and we're going to do that for the next few weeks until we get the regular class going. But I would market it as if that is part of the class. So it's a valued part of the program. It's not like a consultation. Oh, sorry, we can't take you. Do this Q&A. Promote it as if it's part of the program. Say, well, we've got the 6-week program, but we also have an 8-week program. In the first 4 weeks, you get a jump start, and this is what you do. So sell it for the added value as if it's a part of your regular program or an option, an upsell to get more support and more guidance, and adding value to your regular training. So that's another thing that you could do. I think I have one more tip here. Let me see. Yep. And then the other thing that you can do could be a combination. You could do, you're going to give them a foundations course and an ebook, or you're going to do a Q&A every Sunday night. And in addition to the Q&A, you're going to give them access to a video library. So you give them a bunch of videos and say, okay, every Sunday night, send me your questions. And then I'm going to be online for an hour for office hours. And so these are just some kind of ways to kind of fill in that time while you're waiting to have space for them. Or if you never have space or don't want to deal with them, maybe some other ways that you can generate some income. Some of these require a little bit more work than others, but some of the digital stuff, some of these require some setup time, but once it's created, like a video, you create a video or an email course, once it's created, you can use it again and again and again. And I've got some of these, mini courses and little video trainings and webinar trainings I've used year after year after year after year. So yeah, it took time the first time I created it, but I've made a lot of use of that content over the years. I have one I've been using. It's a training series. I think I've been using it for 6 years now. I've done a tiny bit of revision to it, but it's almost the same thing I did when I very first created it 5-6 years ago. So those are some other examples. So do any of these kind of sound a little interesting? Some of these are familiar. I know some of these might be some more innovative ways. But if there's a particular topic here or an option that you never thought about or you're really interested in, let me know. And let me know if it's something that you want to know more about, because I've got all kinds of trainings, especially if you're interested in kind of the virtual stuff. But think about it and be creative, and think about when you're turning people away or you're not getting a deposit, not getting money down, think about ways that you can engage them, even if it's not in a traditional class, in a sense of a traditional class. And if you're looking for more information and you if you have a particular interest in some of these digital aspects in the online, I encourage you to check out our online Canine Business Mastermind program. And let me see if I can pop this up in the chat box. But this should show up for the link. Yeah, the foundations course. Nancy, she said she liked the foundations course. I know a couple people that are doing that very successfully. But if you want to check out our Canine Business Mastermind, we have an application on there. Go to Northeast Canine Mastermind. Northeast, the letter K, the number 9, Northeast Canine Mastermind. Fill out the application. We have different levels of involvement and different, levels of commitment. But we look at different types of ways to support dog trainers. And we do have some, one of the areas we do put a lot of emphasis is helping people and how to use digital technologies to work more efficiently, to save time, to automate things. And if you're interested in doing things like an ebook, a video library, a virtual course, this is definitely something. We've got tons of resources and trainings and stuff for you. So if you're interested, check it out. Again, it's the Northeast Canine Mastermind, the letter K, the number 9, Northeast Canine Mastermind. Check it out. And there's a link. It says enrollment's not open right now, but fill out the application if it says that. I am reviewing applications, and we do have some spots to get a few people in. So, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I got to hop on to a meeting and chat with somebody over in Australia right now. But that's another great thing about online stuff is you can reach the entire English speaking world or whatever language you speak if they have high-speed internet. So that's something that I wouldn't be able to do if I just had an in-person program. So that is another great thing is you can really widen your audience by doing things virtually. So you're very, very welcome, Sean. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Typically every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States, you'll catch me on the Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook business page. And I also stream this typically on my personal page on Facebook. If you have any questions, let me know. Check out our mastermind and let me know if you have some other creative ways you can think of generating income for the busy dog trainers instead of turning people away. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the evening or day. Bye-bye for now.